And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm your host, Kim Davis. Today is Tuesday, April the 23rd, and man, is there a lot going on in the world of sports. So today, the Houston Texans officially released the video and pictures of the new uniforms. Now, I got a chance to see those uniforms, I don't know, maybe about a month ago. They allowed some of us in the media and probably some of their partners to get a look at the new uniforms. And so today is the official day that they have been released. I'm going to let you see a quick video that shows the new uniforms. I'd love for you to tell me what you think about them. What are your thoughts? Are they what you had hoped for? Doesn't matter. I mean, it's a big time. And here's what it is. They haven't changed their uniforms like ever. In fact, here is me talking with, I had a sit-down interview last week with Cal and Hannah McNair, the owners of the Texans. Cal is the chairman. And I asked about the uniforms, like why uniforms. And here is what Cal McNair said about the uniforms.
Fans were giving us that input pretty consistent. They wanted to see some new and involvement of the team and the uniforms, and they're really good uniforms, and we've had them for over 20 years. So sometimes it is time to make a little change, and they love the logo, they love the colors, but they just wanted some updates.
DeMeco said earlier, he goes, I told the guys I wore these same uniforms.
Right.
Right. So that's how long the uniforms have been around. DeMeco wore these uniforms when he played. So now they have new uniforms that were released today. So here is, I made a little short video, but here's the new look uniforms and helmets and the new H. Check it out.
Makes you wanna go. Makes you wanna go. Na 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 na.
So those are the uniforms, right? They've got 4 new looks. They have, let me see. I don't want it. So there are 4 new fan-inspired uniforms. It's the first time the team has made a change in the uniform since its inception, which is back in 2000. There's home, away, there's an alternate, and then there's a color rush. And listen, they had more than 10,000 surveys and 30 focus groups to come up with this. And you may think, like, really, it takes all that? But I let you hear last week from Greg Grissom, the team's president, who talks about the process and the league's involvement. And you have to work with Nike, and there's some stuff you can change, but how much you change. I mean, it really is a process. So the home uniform is a classic. It's featuring the deep steel blue color that matches the original deep steel blue. Steel blue is like the Navy. It's a deep color that was revealed in 2000, along with an H-Town call out on the inside of the collar. The home helmet is that deep steel blue with the blue on blue metallic. It has like a metallic flake paint in it. And I imagine you can really see it, under the lights. It includes the traditional bull logo because people like that. They didn't want to get rid of it on the sides. And then the new H secondary logo on the back. So the away, which is the Liberty white uniform, is the traditional with a little bit of a modern edge. It's got the traditional sleeve stripe on the back and sides of the jersey that kind of transforms it into a bullhorn inspired design on the front. So the alternate uniform is the bold battle red, which is the version of the away jersey. I actually really like the red ones. I mean, red's my color, but that's probably my favorite. The color rush, the city inspired uniform, introduced the new H-Town blue as the first color introduced to the Texans brand in team history. And the Texans are also the first team to introduce a new logo on an alternate logo and a 2 logo system across the helmet. So, it seems like a lot, right? It's like, well, it's you, but the uniform it's a really big deal. So the Texans are celebrating it all day. They've been dropping videos. They released it this morning at 10 a.m. There's a release party tonight at 713 the venue downtown, kind of a party for fans. I think I'll be there. I'm planning to be there. And so if you don't have tickets, I think it's sold out. It was free, but you had to have a ticket to get in. But if you have had a chance at all to check out any of them other than what I just showed you, and I'll play it a couple times throughout, throughout today, so that you get a chance to look at it. And let me see something. I think. Let me see if I can show you the stills, because basically what I showed you was a video, because it's easier for me to do that. But let me see if I can just pull up some still shots of the photo. I have those as well. Let me see. Okay. Let me share my screen and show you a little bit of what the stills, how the stills look. So today is the official launch day. So this is a bit of what you'll see. So you see the logo on the back. It's kind of the double, you see it on the back as well as you'll see it on the sides. They've got some intricate stuff that you got to look really closely to see. I think on the road, when they're outside, some of those, the look of some of that is going to be probably pretty interesting. Let's see if I can get it to. And so they actually had, and the players that got a chance to see them. So here's the color rush finish, right? So there's the new H as you get a look at it, and you can see it's got some of the color that people really want, but they can't really go all in on that color, because that color it's not the same color, but it looks like it, right? That Houston blue, it belongs to the Titans. We know all about that. So that's part of, so there's a little bit of trouble, but here is, it's an official accent color, right? It can't be a main color, but it is an official accent color. Let me see. And then the bullhead, you can check out the bullhead that's inspired by that accent blue. And then the official H logo on the back, right, is also something that's new. The H-Town on the front, which is something that is new. They really did. I went to a couple of the fan meetings, and they really did. There was a lot of input from people about what to do with these uniforms. Here is that the candy paint. If you can see closely, you see the kind of specks in it, which has the helmet with the red flakes in it. It's pretty intricate. And then the H logo, which is treated with that metallic look. They were like, how do we get the H-Town feel, but without losing like who we really are? And of course, here, as we said, it's known as an accent color. So anyway, that gives you a sense of some of what it looks like in a steel color. So I'd love to know your thoughts about, what you see, what you think of the uniforms, and are you impressed? Do you like them? Of course, we talked last week with DeMeco, and DeMeco said, yeah, he's excited about it because, as I mentioned, he played in those uniforms. So he was excited to, be doing something to get new uniforms. But when we asked Nick Casserio, who we spoke with later in the week, Nick is like, yeah, I'm probably not the guy to ask. Which we knew that, but you still ask him, right? I really don't care about what the uniforms look like. I'm not the most fashionable guy around, but what matters is, obviously how they play. So it's been kind of fun. Hey, good morning, Charles. Welcome. Bridget likes them. She says, nice. Yeah, it brings a little something, new. And So yeah, I don't know. Just had a special guest that was going to join us briefly, and they were having some problems. Hey there, trying to get on. I'm not sure why it's not working for you to jump on this morning, but we were going to do a little special chat with one of our partners from Jinka, but also Eyebrow Energy to give you some little insight for people about eyebrows. We're gonna see if we can make it work. Maybe it's because of I'm not sure. Let me resend the link and see if maybe once it started it was different. I don't know, but I'm gonna try it again. Okay. And we'll see what happens. So Texans have new uniforms. What do you think about it? Do you like them? Bridget says nice. She likes them. If you are just jumping on now, let me show you. I showed you the stills of it, but here's just like a 20-second video of them again. The new H-Town Houston Texans uniforms.
Makes you wanna go. Makes you wanna go. Na 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 na.
So that's it. Those are the new uniforms. That is the new look. And of course, many of you are probably saying, well, I know some people who were super excited about the new uniforms, and there are others who are like, just get me to the draft, right? So the draft is this week. The first round of the draft is on Thursday night, and the Texans don't have a first round pick. If you'll remember last year, they traded that pick in order to have 2 first round picks to move up and be able to get Will Anderson Jr. So last year they ended up with the number 2 and number 3 overall picks in the draft. So I think after the first season, both of those players were the rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year for CJ Stroud, defensive rookie of the year for Will Anderson Jr. I don't think anybody now who may have possibly questioned the move last year is questioning that move, right? But so they don't have a first round pick in this year's draft. They do have 9 picks overall. And one of the things Nick Casserio said last week is, when someone asked, are you guys thinking about making a move? And he said, well, obviously they don't talk about what they do in the draft, in their draft plan or strategy. I mean, overall, a strategy is to have a successful draft. That's about as much as we're going to get. And I'm not mad at it. I don't think we need to know all of that in advance, right? It helps them do what they did last year and whatever they'll pull off this year. But he did say, more than likely, if you know how we work or how he works it, there'll probably be some movement. What does that mean? We have no idea, right? Does it mean they'll move up to the first round? I don't really see that, but I don't know what they'll do. They were very productive, if you will, this offseason. They were very busy in the free agent world. He was also asked about Stefon Diggs because, here in Houston, the media has not met him yet. And he has not been made available just so that we could introduce him to Houston fans. And the question was asked about Stefon Diggs, and I think the word diva was used. One of my colleagues said, "Hey, he's been kind of accused of being a bit of a diva. Are you concerned about that?" And in pure Nick Casserio fashion, he said, "I don't even know what that means. Like, what is that?" He didn't even know what that means. Well, but he said, in time you'll meet him, blah, blah, blah. And they're not really worried about it. And anyway, he said he didn't know what the diva part meant, but adding somebody good to the roster. And of course, in talking about the moves that they made, right, this offseason, Nick is like, none of it matters. Let's see this. Outlied apps, 3-party streaming. Oh, okay. I don't know what that is, Kim. I think you can just sign on directly. Let me just see if I can find some info to send you. Facebook is no longer allowing outside apps. Huh. Anyway, I don't know, Kim. I think you can sign on without going through Facebook. I think you can just go to the link that I sent you. Let me see something if I can send you some information. So interesting. But at any rate, Nick Casserio said this. We haven't done anything yet. Like none of it matters, until you get to camp, you kind of get to know more. And of course, once we get to camp, he's going to say, until you play games, it doesn't really matter. But I get it. I get a bit of his point. He talked about all the talk about the draft, and people are going to give the draft, grades on the Monday after, and it's all kind of really meaningless and foolish. And I don't really know. So, yeah, it's I'm not saying that Nick should have been, high-fiving us saying, yeah, we're headed to the Super Bowl, but my gosh, it's not quite such doom and gloom. But that's Nick's just being Nick, right? He's about business. He's been getting stuff done. I got to give him credit where credit is due. He may not want to consider it to be successful yet. But it's something new, right? They've done something good. Their off-season moves were productive, and it helped the roster, and I think that's good. So I'm gonna give Nick credit. You guys know where I've been with Nick Casserio since he's been here, right? And so I will be, while I have been critical with him at times, I will give him credit when he has done some good work. We'll see how the moves pan out. Like, he is right about that. Until they play, you don't really know how it's going to work out. The Stefon Diggs move, we know Stefon Diggs has talent. There's no question about that. How's he going to fit in here? How is it going to work if at some point something doesn't go well? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But what we do know is the Texans aren't the Bills. They're just different. I'm not saying one's better or worse. They're just different organizations. And there is a different environment, if you will, and culture. That word was used so much under the previous, I guess, some leadership, but culture is a thing. And then leadership from the head coach. And then you've got CJ Stroud, who has immense leadership skills. He had them as a rookie. He's no longer a rookie. He's in year 2, still young, but so there are some things that are different here. CJ Stroud is not Josh Allen, not a knock on Josh, just different. So this team, this situation will likely be different. And remember, because they have restructured Stefon Diggs' contract, this is basically a 1-year deal. They can do something later, but the rest of the back end of that deal, they deleted those or negated those years. They agreed to basically a 1-year deal. And then, so we'll see. So what happens oftentimes, we've seen it historically. Players have great seasons when they're playing for a contract, because you're kind of playing for a contract. So we'll see what happens. And then you'll kind of know after next year, like, is Diggs a fit to go with this team long term? Or is Nico Collins really who Nico Collins showed you he was last year? Obviously, you still got Tank on that rookie deal. And who knows who they'll get out of the draft, right? CJ told us that John Mechie, looked really good. John Mechie has not quite been the John Mechie that people expected when he was drafted, for clearly understandable reasons. He had an injury, and then he got leukemia. He missed that whole season. He had to recover from that. And then when he came back from the leukemia, he had a knee injury. So this will be his, looks like, first real off season to be able to come in, to have a full off season. He was out in LA and, throwing with CJ recently. They all have a full off season together, right? Nico and, Stefon. And because last year, CJ wasn't a part of OTAs. He came after the draft. It wasn't a whole lot later, but now he's had an entire off season to come in and work with the guys and build on what they started last year. So the draft is going to be interesting to see which direction they go. I've heard different things. I'd love to know what you think. Feel free to drop it in the chat. Hey, good morning, Carolyn. Welcome. It's good to see you. Thank you for being a part of Chalk Talk. And yeah, Kim, I will check that out. I don't know what that is, what that problem is, but I'll look at it. And I mean, I'll check it out with StreamYard when I'm not on the air if there's something with making it difficult, because I had somebody on recently, so I don't know what that is. But so what do you think the Texans should do in the draft, right? There's some people who say they've got to get another running back because people are kind of, those are the people who are out on Dameon Pierce, right? You know that they've got Joe Mixon. He is obviously going to be, running RB1, but what about behind him? They don't, do you think that Dameon Pierce can recover, if you will, and earn some time at the running back position? This offense was different than what he ran. The blocking schemes are different than what he was in as a rookie. And last year it was a real struggle for him. He never quite got over the hump, and that's got to be frustrating. So is he done? Can he do it? What do you think? Do they need to get another running back? They probably do, but how? So in that, with the first picks they have right now, right, with picks in the second and third round, what do you want to see them do? Do you want to see them go defense and get a safety, another linebacker, perhaps? Get some help. They do need help at the linebacker position. What about the safety position? Obviously, they're still going with Jalen. I almost like lost it. And Jalen Petrie, who was in his rookie year, had a great season. Last year, he fell off a bit. So that's a question. They like Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward's a little bit older. He's a veteran with great skills. Had some injury issues last year. And what do they do at that spot, right? Do they need to get more help on the defensive line? Do you think that that's a position? I'm just curious as to which way they will go, right? In terms of how they decide what their needs are. The difference from while they do still have needs, it's a much different situation than it was last year, where they had so many needs. And because they were active and productive in free agency, they have, it's not so dire. I mean, they can fill a need for this year. They can get a player that they're looking at being, getting them ready for next year. I mean, they can start having a little bit of a long-term look because they don't have to, they had all those one-year deals last year, right? And it was kind of the fill the gaps, stop the bleeding. And so now they are in, how do we really take the next step and also build for the future? So I'll be really curious to see how they approach the draft moving forward, right? I'll be really curious about that. I'm going to put a pin in the Texans for just one moment because it's easy to talk about them, but I do want to mention the Houston Astros. Okay, I'm just looking right now so I can give you the current record. So the Astros right now are 7-16. They're 3-7 over the last 10 games. So they have lost 7 games. Won 7 games and lost 16. It's their worst start, I believe, since the 2016 season. They are 5 games out of first. Right now in the American League West, the Texas Rangers are in first place. The Seattle Mariners are right behind them. And then it's the Angels, the A's, and the Astros. And granted, it is a very, very long season. Okay, I keep saying that because we know it is. It's April. The season doesn't really end until November if you get all the way through the World Series. And so postseason goes. The season goes through September. So there's a lot of season, but you also can't get too far behind, right? Because it becomes so much to make up. You want to still be, you want to be in the hunt. And 5 games isn't something that you can ever make up, right? Because people are going to have ebbs and flows and highs and lows, and they're going to be, all that stuff's going to happen throughout the season. But this 7-16, the way it's looked to me is the thing that's a little concerning. We know they've had some pitching issues because they've had so many starting pitchers injured, right? They started this season without Justin Verlander. Then Fromber was a little banged up. He could be back, so he was out. Urquidy went out. then you're concerned about a Javier Christian. And so you've got some young guys in that have, by all accounts, at times struggled. Your middle relief has been questionable. And then sometimes you're like, okay, we can, they're in a game till late in the game, and then the other team explodes in the ninth inning. That means your relief pitching didn't hold up, right? Which is what happened on Sunday. So they were off yesterday. They're back in action tonight. They're in Chicago to play the Cubs. The Cubs are 13-9. So they play tonight in Chicago. They play today and tomorrow. Is that right? And I think they do. Let's see. I think they play. Yeah, they have there's 3 games with the Cubs: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then they have a day off, and they travel to Mexico City, and they have 2 games against the Rockies in Mexico City. So, you would think that against the Nationals, that you would have hoped for a better series, that they would have won that series. They won 1 game, the game that Justin Verlander pitched. They lost the other 2, so they were 1-2. So far on this road trip, they are 1-2. They get back in action tonight. I wanted to look at from Sunday. So one of the things too is that the Astros have not been good in extra innings this season. Extra innings have not been their friend. The final there was no extra innings on Sunday. Let's be clear. The final was 6-0 on Sunday. But was it extra innings on Saturday? I'm trying to see the game I'm trying to show you. Yeah, extra innings on Saturday. So in that game, the Astros were up. They were up 4-2 going into the 9th inning. And in the bottom of the 9th, the Washington Nationals scored 2 runs. So let's go here. So you go into the 9th, and your pitching doesn't hold up. Your relief pitching doesn't hold up. So that's a problem, right? You go into the 9th, 4-2, bottom of the 9th. What you've got to do is you've got to get 3 outs. And the Nationals tied it in the bottom of the 9th, and then in the 10th, they won it in the 10th. They won it in the bottom of the 10th, 5-4. So they've had that happen before, where they were not able to hold a lead, whether it was a 4-2 lead or 1-0 lead. Their pitching has really kind of failed them, and that has been a problem. They also have had some errors like base path interference from the catcher and just base running, and that's kind of been Altuve, but that's who he is. His base running, as great as he is in everything else, his base running just makes you want to go, stop it, just stay put, right? But they've just made some mistakes they just haven't looked great. And apparently when they were when JV got back, Verlander got back, he had a talk with them and told them to, get their heads out of their, out of their rear end, so to speak, and different kind of language. But JV went out, they won that game, and then they lost the next 2 to the Nationals. I mean, when you're up 4-2 and they're going into the 9th, and yeah, it's the Nationals, just as a point of reference, the Nationals, well, they're 10-11 now. So it's not like the Nationals are the Braves, right? Who have a 15-6 record, or the Cleveland Guardians, who right now are playing the best baseball and playing the best in the whole league. They're 16-6. They will come to town next week when the Astros get back home. So, you go into Washington, and it's a chance. When they went into that series, they had a chance to, make some ground. I mean, you can't necessarily expect a sweep, but you'd like to at least win the series. You got to start winning some series if you're going to start cutting into the lead about and make up some ground. You can't wait till the All-Star break or late August to try to go on a tear because everybody else is playing as well. So you just need to be in the hunt. Right now, they're at the bottom of their division. I mean, 5 games is not something that you can't overcome, but if you keep, they look the way they've looked, they've got to do something differently. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, it's not a great look. It's not a great look right now, and we'll see what they do tonight in Chicago against the Cubs. Hey, Kyle Mosley, he says, I like the H-Town uniforms. It is listen, the red one is my favorite, and obviously the Houston blue, if you call it, or the H-Town blue that are now using as an accent color. They can't really wear that as a whole uniform, right? But they could use it. They found some ways, to get it in as an accent color, because that is the thing that so many people wanted to use, right? They really wanted to use, they wanted to see that, you can't have a color that was the former, I'll say it was a former Houston Oilers color, that it's the Columbia blue, that was, it's a color of Houston police cars back in the day. But when the Oilers left and went to Tennessee and became the Titans, that was part of the deal. That color got to go with them. And so remember last year when the Titans had a fit that the University of Houston wore those colors for a home game. It wasn't even the Texans. So that is, something that they really couldn't do a lot with. But let me pull up again and show you some of the, oh, here it is. Colors. So that's that blue. That's the color that people really wish they could have a whole uniform. And so kudos to the Texans and the design team for being able to find a way to get it in without it being an infringement, something that, of course, the league would sign off on. And so they got it in where they could as an accent color. You see it around the numbers, you see it on the, you see it, on the H. And what do you guys think about that H? Do you like it? These helmets that have the little, kind of flakes in it. When I saw it in person, I was like, oh, I had to look a little more closely, but I was like, oh, okay, I see the little flakes. It's kind of got, I guess that's a version of some bling, that metallic flake and chrome, which is kind of I guess a nod to some of the H-Town culture, if you will. And so that, chrome and metallic, that was important to fans for them to get in. And now that this is an official accent color, they couldn't really use it before, but now it is an official approved accent color. And it is not it can't be that, there's so many, when you look at colors, like there's a gazillion different versions of black, right? When I was getting my house painted once and I was with the designer and I was like, well, isn't it just black? She goes, no, there's all these different numbers. So it's the same with all these blues. And the blues that you think are that blue, the blue that what we used to call Columbia blue, that was the H-Town blue of the police cars and the Oilers uniforms. So that's a close enough color to it without it infringing on the color. It's so intricate. It's really kind of fascinating. And this is the back of the official H that's on the back of the uniform and the new alternate helmet. What do you guys think about that? Do you like the alternate helmet? Where's the red again? Let me see if I can get it. I thought I saw it earlier. Let's see here. City edition. I wanted to see that red. So they're having some trouble with it. Okay, so here is the logo breakdown. That I think is kind of interesting, right? When you look at it, it has the H-Town, which is, a representation of the city, right? The bullhorns, which is inspired by, and that's these right here, this little round, right? That's the bullhorns. Inspired by the bullhorns that are a part of the logo, and then the black letter. So it's a font, it's a fan selected font from over 300 designs. I mean, when I tell you there was a lot of discussion and input about it, that's a lot of designs, right? And then the H-Town blue, which is a color of the city dating back over 100 years, right? We go back all those years to the H-Town blue. And then the star, which is from the bullseye from the primary logo. So I think that's a pretty good breakdown of this logo, right? They didn't get rid of the other, but of the logo. You can see what they've done with the helmet. They've updated the deep steel blue, which it really matches the original deep steel blue, right? That was unveiled back in when the team was announced back in 2000. And some people say it looks black, but it really is blue. So it's deep steel blue, which is a deep navy. Okay, there's the red, right? So here's the alternate uniform. The jersey is the bold battle red alternate of the Liberty white uniform. Now the red's my favorite, but red's my color, right? But this is the alternate uniform. So you won't see, they can't wear this a lot, right? The traditional sleeve stripe on the back and sides, it transforms into the bullhorn. You'll see that on, you'll see it there. Inside collar has the H-Town call out. I mean, the inside collar, okay. And then the helmet, it's the battle red color with that candy paint. And it also, if you look closely, you can see it has the red flakes in it. And it has that red metallic chrome kind of face mask. Traditional Texas bullhead logo on the back, and then the new bullhorn inspired helmet logo application. So this one is see there it is in the back. I like the red ones. The red ones look like the bold bull is what they're calling it. The red ones look like the deal. And it's an alternate of the Liberty white uniform. So I forget how many times a year they can wear it. Here is the away uniform. The traditional design, kind of with the modern edge. It's got the traditional sleeve. You see what they've done with the bullhorns on the sleeve, and the inside collar includes the H-Town call out. They're showing it here below because you can't really see it, unless you're that close. So yeah, it is. Those are the helmets. Check them out, right? H-Town, Houston. You see the red one. What's your favorite helmet? Mine is still the red. It's the battle red. Those are the helmets. And so the Texans are the first team to introduce a new logo on an alternate helmet, and the first team to introduce a 2-logo system across all helmets. So there are all 3 of them. So you see the H, but you also see the bullhorn. So it's pretty cool stuff when you think about it. I just think it's been quite a journey for them to get there. And here's a person that wants to promote my channel. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you watched the show. I've been getting a lot of that, so I don't really know if that's good or bad, but maybe people like it and just want to help me get more people watching. So thank you for tuning in. So you guys, it seems like those of you who commented, you like the logo, and I'm gonna just run the video one more time because I like it in that fashion. It's only 20 seconds, but here is the new uniforms.
Makes you wanna go. Makes you wanna go. Na 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 na.
So that is what the team they sent to us that we could use across our platforms on our shows to talk about it. And so I just made a quick little video of all the steal shots. And they've got then I showed you from their website where you could really see the steals and a much better picture of them all laid out. So that is that. I don't know how many of you have been following before we get out of here. Obviously, you have to talk about the fact that the NBA playoffs are underway. There was a lot of drama last night. And so the Lakers are playing the Nuggets. Remember, that was a matchup they had last season. They lost game one. It wasn't really close. Last night, the Lakers, even though the Nuggets are the 2 seed, the Nuggets clearly the best team in the West, right? The Lakers, did a good job and were up by 20 points in the third quarter, lost that lead, and ultimately lost the game. The final was 101-99. Jamal Murray nailed a shot at the buzzer. Like Anthony Davis, who played a great game, was just all over him and, guarding him, and actually fell into the Nuggets bench because he was trying to stop him from hitting that shot. And it didn't work. But the Nuggets, and I don't know if the Lakers ran out of gas or not, but in the fourth and final quarter, the Nuggets outscored the Lakers 32-20. So it was a step back 15-footer that Jamal Murray hit over Anthony Davis at the buzzer, which gave them the win. Like, he hits the shot, clock goes out. Time expires, game over. Last night, Anthony Davis had 32 points. He was 14 of 19 from the field. He was perfect in terms of free throws. Rebounds, he had 11 rebounds. LeBron James had 12 assists. And of course, Jokic was Jokic, right? 27 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals. Like, he's just so good. So now the Lakers are down 0-2 in the series, heading back to LA. They had a chance to be 1-1. That was a game that they really needed last night because the Nuggets are really, really good. The other game last night that seemed to have a bit of drama was the Sixers and the Knicks, right? That final was 104-101. And, late minute, you can question about how the Sixers handled it when they took the ball out. If you're up, you've got to protect the lead late. It's just, I think they were up by 5 points, 27 seconds left. So anyway, now the Knicks have gone up 2-0. The game shift to Philadelphia. And after the game, Joel Embiid said, "Hey, listen, we're the better team. We're going to win." And I think the 76ers are a better team with a healthy Joel Embiid. I don't know how healthy he is. He's not 100%. So I don't know that they are the better team, but now they go home down 0-2. So they will play, and we'll see what happens. Last night, Tyrese Maxey had 35 points. Joel Embiid had 10 rebounds. Maxey had 10 assists. Kyle Lowry had 2 steals. Brunson was, they don't win this game without him. The Knicks, he had 24 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But those 2 games really had some drama last night. And then the other game was also in the East. It was the Magic and the Cavaliers. The Cavs won that game. They're up 2-0. The final was a 10-point game, 96-86. Magic guard Jalen Suggs suffered some kind of an injury, I think, to his left leg. So we'll see if he's able to come back from that. So, what games are tonight? So tonight, the Sun are playing the Timberwolves. They are down 0-1. The Timberwolves have a 2.5-point favorite to win that game. It's the Pacers and the Bucks. The Bucks are up 1-0 in that series. That game is in Milwaukee. The Bucks are a 1.5 favorite. And then the other game tonight is from the West. It's the Mavericks and the Clippers. The Clippers are up 1-0 in that series. The Mavericks are actually favored by a 1.5. So those are the games that are on tap for tonight in the NBA. So listen, it's that time of year when it's busy. You got NBA playoffs going on. We've got the NFL draft later this week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And baseball really kind of heating up. So I will bring you guys updates from what happens tonight at the release party. It's just a celebration, if you will, and kind of leading into the draft. But let me know your thoughts about the uniforms. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you are watching the replay of the show, just drop it in the chat and the messages, and I will hit you back. So as always, thank you for being a part of Chalk Talk. Follow me on all of the platforms, my socials on even on LinkedIn, but on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook, because I'll be giving you updates, letting you hear some sound from Nick Casserio heading into the draft, and from DeMeco Ryans heading into the draft. And also I'm going to replay again the interview just on its own with Cal and Hannah McNair that I had a chance to shoot last week. So thank you all for being a part of Chalk Talk. You are the best part of the show and why we do this. Oh, I've also got to let you know, if you are in Texas and we have an election, a special election for seats on, I guess it's the HCAD board, and also for State Senate District 15. It's a seat that was vacated by Houston Mayor John Whitmire when he became mayor. So early voting started yesterday. You can vote early through Sunday, and then through next Tuesday. Election day is on May the 4th. But you have plenty of time, and you know me, make sure you get out and vote. If you're not registered, get registered so that when the next election comes up, you will be able to vote. There is a runoff from the election that took place in March. That's happening later in May. I'll remind you about that. But right now, there is a special election underway. And this is what I say. Well, who should I vote for, Kim? I say vote for your values. Vote for the people and policies that best, represent what you want for you, your family, your community. And so that's what you do. That means you got to do a little bit of work, go online, see who's running, see the candidates, see what they're talking about, and pick who it seems is the best fit for what you think you and your family, your community, your business, whatever needs. That's who I say vote for. Vote your values. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for me. Make it a great, great week. Other than vote, which is super important. Remember, do something kind for yourself, and then do something kind for somebody else. I'll see you next Tuesday on this platform. But until then, I'll catch you daily. Peace.